Back then, we went into it with the mentality that friendship will win in the end. But at one point in your life, something's going to change. Change always happens.
When I first started, it was really hard. I think I was inexperienced, like, even in life. I didn't know myself.
In hindsight, that was an incredible turning point. I didn't realize how big it was, but now looking back at it, this changed my life.
It's hard to believe how much things changed. It changed into something nobody would ever expect.
One of the things I've learned is that actually I appreciate my teammates, my friends. I appreciate the people who are around me. Without these people, I think it would have been a completely different story.
At its heart, this is a story about when games got serious. There's $25 million on the line, the largest prize pool in esports history. We've got 20,000 fans here in the arena, millions following from their homes. It seems impossible for this team to take home a championship. A team ranked dead last by the majority of pundits.
What do we think about OG making it this far? They weren't even the same team a couple months ago.
OG had such a miracle run. Even when they're behind, you always have that feeling like it's never over, it's never over.
The ultimate underdog story.
The story could end here, and it could be a fairy tale.
But this is a story about something much more than a game. Because when the stakes are this high, and the odds are against you, you find out who your true friends are.
My name is Johan Sundstein. My nickname is No Tail. I play competitive esports. Me and Tao, we go way back.
Hello, everyone.
He was my first teammate, like inside and outside of the game.
I have a question for all the viewers. What do you think about this hair? Yeah, it's not too sure about that.
No. It was a close bond. It's like brothers.
How do you think I can look at your hair and feel serious about it? I can't. Just look at it.
There's nothing wrong with my hair. Be careful. I might gash you.
No Tail and Fly. You could ask anyone in esports, this is the ultimate friendship. These are two guys that have just stuck with one another thick and thin throughout different rosters, different years, different teams even.
The way me and Tal met was in a public game.
We were playing almost every day, like either practicing or just pubbing or whatever, so we ended up talking a lot all the time. You know, he's like a brother to me.
When we started, we didn't really know the esports scene was going to be a thing. It was just us playing games, and we got kind of thrown into what was this whole movement.
We are here live at Gamescom 2011 in beautiful Cologne. It is the International Championships. $1.6 million prize pool.
We've got some of the world's best teams here in DOTA.
And they're handing out a tournament prize of $1.6 million. Oh my God, they're not gonna get this!
TI, which is short for the International, is the biggest competition in Dota 2, which is one of the most popular esports in the world.
Every single competitive Dota player wants TI above all else.
The first international, it was a $1.6 million prize pool, which had never been done. It was revolutionary.
Before TI, there was almost nothing in terms of career viability with esports.
Esports in the earliest days have started with Donkey Kong tournaments and Space Invaders tournaments, just to see who could get the highest score.
Being paid at all for winning a tournament was crazy.
But with the rise of the International, you had this sort of epochal shift.
When you talk about the International, it's a really big deal. The Super Bowl of pro gaming, the biggest tournament.
A prize pool of millions of dollars. And each year it's increased, it's got bigger and bigger.
And the more money, the bigger the stage.
The people you see playing international are the best in esport, and that's because Dota 2 is a game with lots of nuance and detail to play.
It's a game of high skill, high focus.
But make no mistake, it's not just about skill, it's about how you play together. This is a team game.
The goal is to destroy the enemy's ancient, which is the main structure in their base.
Dota 2 is a 5-on-5 game of capture the flag.
You spend the game building up the power of your heroes, which are selected before the game in a draft sequence. With over 100 different heroes, each hero having different abilities, there are seemingly infinite combinations that make each game as unique as possible, and one of the reasons why so many people around the world love to follow Dota 2.
Growing so fast, you have no idea how far it will go, how big it can get.
Our first international was TI8. It was in 2013. We were playing under the name Fnatic at the time. I remember we were so stoked.
We've been working for a year now to get here. It's been a really long ride and like it means so much.
TI, you know, that's like, then you came a long way.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2013 International.
Going to America, playing in front of a crowd, and we got our chance to prove that we could be the best. It was intense, like, it was on a whole nother level.
Onto Pinecat, smash him back, bring him down fast. Pinecat's low, Pinecat's dead. 2 more fall, and GG Fnatic are guaranteed a top 8 finish at the International.
GG, game over. They've made top 8 at the International. A huge win.
Fnatic, I think they're capable of winning against any team.
We're rooting for Fnatic.
We started high. But then, yeah, you play somebody that's been doing this for a long time, and oh boy.
We have to remember, Fnatic, this is their first TI appearance. They're already a top 8. It's a great performance, but Fnatic going up against Orange, we do say Orange are the favorites.
Orange versus Fnatic.
VIETSUB is on cooldown at Orange. They will take this bottom rank, and there is nothing that Fnatic can do to stop them. Double kill for Mushy. Buyback by Darkseer. Buyback by the SF by Mushy. Triple, Ultra, and GG.
We got put in our place.
Fnatic have been eliminated by the Malaysians. Orange will advance themselves forward.
Back then, we were not ready. After TI3, we did have a serious talk. I mean, after every TI, there's a lot of roster shuffles. You know, the grass is always greener. I want to play with different players, things like this. But we thought experience matters. We learned together. This will do us good for the next TI.
There's going to be another queue now.
If you make it to TI, before you get to play in front of the crowd in the arena, you have to play group stages, and you do that from a hotel room. There's a chance you will never make it out of that hotel room.
Could have maybe gotten a kill, but that will be it.
Here with No Tail, this tournament, you know, it didn't go the way you guys wanted it to go. What do you think the reasons were?
All in all, I think there's been a bunch of things coming to this disappointing result, and there's not so much we could have done about it. I think we did try our best still.
Despite working an entire year, they couldn't even get out of the group stage.
Yes, we are here for what could be the very last game of our Grand Final 2004.
Losing this one, the way we did, all that is stuck in your head is you're out, it's over. Somebody else is going to win. It's not going to be you. And it's a really hard pill to swallow. There were some issues before this TI, and everybody in Fnatic, they were ready to burn some bridges that they weren't ready to burn a year before.
After TI4, Fly and Notel found themselves on a new team. And in their minds, this is going to be a superstar roster.
Team Secret, we did feel like a super team. But then there was this Star Ladder tournament.
And it's onto the throne. They got Secret by the jugular, and they take
We ended up losing, and that hit us really hard. And after that, I kind of saw it coming.
With just months to the next TI, Fly and Notel found themselves kicked from the very team they had just joined. They were forced to join different teams.
Shit, man, this is really not what I wanted to happen. This is not how I meant for things to go down.
Hi. Casey, good to see you again.
Hi, good to see you.
Thanks for doing this.
No problem.
Just gonna get you all mic'd up.
Cameras rolling. Hotel, take one. So we're just gonna start with some basic questions.
What are your biggest strengths as a team?
Complexity, we're kind of an underdog. We're a very new team. We're only together for about 3 months.
What role do you play right now, currently?
Right now I play support for Cloud9.
What about Team Fnatic? You guys seem to scatter a little bit. Are you still in contact with a lot of those guys?
Mostly Notel. He's a really good friend of mine. We've been playing together ever since I've been playing competitive. Obviously Notel's here. I saw him. We were having a fun time. But I miss being together as a team.
Every good Dota team understands the phrase, a good teammate. The perfect team would have these sort of traits, like kindness and, empathy. Dota is a team game. It is not about you, it's about everyone around you.
Do your teammates understand this too?
I've tried to talk to my teammates about these things. They don't view them the same way as I do at all, but I've been very happy playing for them, and I'm very excited going into TI with Cloud9.
Awesome.
That's it. Cloud9 call it GG. They know they are so far behind. They will give up their position here at the International. VG Gaming will move forward.
Megas against Complexity. There are no buybacks on the 4 dead heroes of Complexity, and GG. Complexity will be eliminated from the International 5 and Virtus Pro.
Yes, the lights have gone out on Complexity's year for the International in 2015.
Ever since I was a kid, I hated losing. I hated losing so much. But I also loved competing. I always thought maybe I would go into being a fighter, like my dad. I was very good at judo and jiu-jitsu and all these things I did. I was very talented. I wanted to make my dad happy, to, be strong for him, to win things, to kind of compete. It's something that's always been with me. Whatever I do, losing is kind of not an option.
After a TI5 failure, personally, I was probably at an all-time low. There was one night, I ended up vomiting and I thought about every loss. And every time I thought about a loss, I felt even worse. It just kept going throughout the whole night. I think that was probably the sickest I felt in my whole life. I was ready to call it quits. But then I had a talk with Tal about playing together again.
Myself and Notel, we know each other very well. We're friends, we rely on each other, we lean on each other.
And we decided to go into this together, to make it as friends, make it as a team, do something new.
Team OG was formed by myself and Notel. Big idea behind OG is a mindset of friendship, but also want to win.
It's a mix of hunger, talent, atmosphere, team dynamic. This is what matters. We just want to do things right, do things our way.
They were going to create a team from the ground up, just finding 3 like-minded individuals.
Historically in esports, the elite teams will pick up fresh talent from the Tier 2 and Tier 3 teams. It was highly unusual to pluck amateur talent from the broader public.
I never thought that anyone's gonna come talk to me because I was a pub player.
Miracle, I looked at his gameplay and he completely carried the game.
Pub players play public matches. It's this like casual, at-home environment playing with nobody watching you. So Miracle was the player that had limited competitive experience.
But this was the guy that I really wanted to play with.
And then I brought Moon over from Complexity. I knew he fit our style. And the last one was Crit. He was always around, never really on a top team, but he shared a similar mindset as us. And I'm the captain.
I try to be the pillar for everyone.
You have to have 5 players who are on the same page.
I think it's the oldest scale of sports. You can buy speed, you can buy height, you can buy strength. You can't buy trust, you can't buy communication, but you need all 5 in order to win a championship.
Live here in Frankfurt, the first ever major.
As the popularity of Dota 2 grew, the sheer volume of those competing meant the sport could sustain a season of high-profile competitions leading up to TI.
After TI5, Valve introduced a new competitive system in Dota 2. It was called Majors. $3 million on the line per major, and implications of getting an invite to TI if you would win a major.
Notel and Fly's team, a band of unlikely individuals that had never really had any crazy amount of success previously in Dota 2. They were the underdogs coming into the first major. Nobody really expected anything.
RG have got it and will be claimed the champion of the first ever Dota 2 major live here in Frankfurt.
The power couple was reunited once again, and it seemed like they could do anything.
So amazing. We come out, we're winning, and everyone's cheering OG. There's nothing better than that.
This is the first generation of a new type of athlete. And these esports athletes are coming into incredibly high pressure situations immediately.
Playing in front of 20,000 people, in front of millions online, and $4 million is big.
When you look at the really big-time, high-level teams, they are looking for any competitive edge they can find.
Around that time, all these majors and big prize pools, it was super intense. It was like a pressure cooker. So a couple teams started getting coaches.
So finding a coach in conventional sports, you get someone who was a star player in a previous generation, or just maybe a good player who had a really good mind for the game. In esports, you don't really have a previous generation of star. So where do you get your coach?
Beginning of 2016, I was living in Paris. I was actually focusing on future life plans. I mean, university, college, all these things.
And at that point, I hadn't played competitive for 3 years or something.
This is when it gets real. Counter Logic Gaming going up against MTW, the guys from France.
My nickname is Affinman. My real name is Sebastian Depps. I love the game, obviously.
I wanted to be the best, but I was really far from it. TI2, yeah, I competed.
Fucking mad, he wants the black hole, he picks up Aki, he picks
But
up
my team was like bottom tier of the tournament.
MTW are the first team to be eliminated from the International 2012.
The sacrifices were too heavy. I think I was kind of losing myself.
I had put everything aside for Dota, and it just came back and kind of hit me in the face.
And then I got a message through Twitter. OG heard that I wasn't an active player anymore and wanted to see if I would be interested to coach them. My first reaction was that I didn't want to because I had given up on Dota pretty much.
Sebastian, he had played in a lot of different teams, and I know Sebastian was working really hard, but he was caught in these teams that couldn't really make it.
I was watching a lot of Dota still because, I mean, I'm very passionate about the game.
The way he spoke about the game, you could tell it wasn't just passion, it was brains, and this is kind of what we saw.
OG, I had watched almost all their games at the Frankfurt Major, maybe all of them. This was a team that was playing already on the highest levels.
Like, these guys are champion material.
This coaching thing, it was a very unique opportunity. You might not get this chance again, so seize it.
Next thing you know, I'm on a plane to the Manila Major.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Manila Major.
The idea of a coach, we kind of did it because it was just like what other teams were doing. I wouldn't say forced, but a tiny bit forced.
Welcome on stage, OG!
I definitely didn't realize the potential of Sebastian's role in the team until Manila Major.
No-tail trying to lock down Matumba Man, finish him off. The wolf will fall. OG getting a core kill, but the jug looks like he might...
Told us what the other team is going to do, and it was 100% on point. Draft.
That's a new hero.
Gameplay.
No-tail, he'll engage forward. Miracle there with the BKB.
Basically, like their strategy.
OG are doing it, Liquid. They can't withstand the punishment.
We had the team. We just felt ourselves. Like, we were just feeding off each other.
OG are the Manila Major champions.
Manila Major was, it was incredible.
Huge shout out to our coach Seb. This would have never happened without him.
Sebastian, great job to him.
Part of the value of winning championship is who you win it with. OG, they were known for their teamwork and communication. That was the anchor.
You win together, you lose together. You want to create this feeling that everybody has each other's back.
Everyone else was switching people in and out, but OG were able to stay as a unit, and it was paying off. They were winning major tournaments, and going into that year's international, they were pitted to be the team to take the championship title at TI8.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the International 2016.
Who's ready? Who's ready? The teams are arriving, the players, the fans are hyped, and we're all here waiting for the international start.
OG up against MVP. What a terrific series to kick off the International 2016.
For TI6, our chances were obviously great. I think we were feeling really good.
There we are then, OG entering the key arena.
We were considered as like one of the best teams, if not the best team in the world.
Starting from the Frankfurt Major and then Manila, they really cemented they are the top team right now. They are absolutely the team that everybody's looking to take down.
We're seed 1. So much hype around us.
Anything but top 3 would be like a huge disappointment.
They're definitely grouped up. They are ready to try and have a 5-on-5. Miracle now stifling. Dagger QR! He rips apart Miracle. Double kill inside the fountain of OG. Almost an impossible ask for OG to come back from this. QO jumps down, he finds Miracle, holding Miracle there, allowing the activation, and GG! Well played! MVP have trashed the two-time major winners. The guys who are hoping to put a TI win under their belt, they may have to do it through the lower bracket. They had a longer journey in
OG TI6 was one of the best teams that ever played Dota. But the mindset that we had going into games, of course, it impacts the Dota part.
We are going to return to our lower bracket now.
We went into this TI, like, I think we felt the highest amount of pressure that we have ever felt before.
We do have two teams who they lose now are done for another year.
Which is not where OG had thought they'd be, let alone where we all thought they'd be.
Most Dota tournaments, if you lose in the upper bracket, you still have a chance to make a run to the finals through the lower bracket.
Double elimination, it's about being able to take a beating and maybe come back.
It is time for TNC versus OG.
We all knew that we were so good. We were so good. But we were definitely playing not to lose.
We almost hit the hour mark as TNC. They'll enter the mid. Do they go for a GG push? Yep, they are. They're attacking the tier 4 towers, are ready to jump forward. Crit, he needs help now. That wall, will it be enough? Kuku's still there in the corner. It's very caught too. Kuku right next to it. Third tells it to go down. Third buyback. They're going for the tier 5. Ever down. Arabia's gone. It is dead. And TNC done it. The impossible. Two-time major winners. You are gone.
OG eliminated on day number 2 of TI6, something that I would never imagine myself hearing.
I cannot believe it.
Your whole life is about that tournament. When it ends, I don't think you quite accept it. Your brain just doesn't process the fact that it's over. But you can't really believe it. It's like, there's no way we did all this. It's like a blackout.
You know, the mountain that you're supposed to climb, it just keeps getting higher and trickier. Like, from the beginning of the season, you look at something so tall and so hard to get up, and you don't know how to do it. You don't even know where to begin. You feel so small, like, and helpless. After TI6, we were not able to dodge the roster shuffle. Moonmeander was not a good fit for me as a player, and Crit, he had other avenues he wanted to seek, like he's for a long time wanted to play with EG and some of the players on EG. And I think when Miracle saw, you know, the team like falling apart, he also looked at something that looked a lot nicer than trying to rebuild this.
But the no-tail fly duo, it doesn't break. These two want to just continue and build a new team with them two at the core of it.
Right out of the gate, they added top-tier talent.
They got S4 from another team, very, very talented former TI winner.
Alliance just won!
You know, everybody remembers when Alliance won TI3.
That's another day in Finland.
Getting Jerax made sense.
And what the biggest mistake of my life.
He was the best 4 position during that time.
YOLO, I'm going.
Having Jerax drawn was super hype. He's incredibly good at the game.
You're very confident, but you're also humble about it.
I think it's a very Finnish thing in the end.
If you win TI, can you be a little excited? Will you brag a little bit then?
Yeah.
You can get better than that. Come on.
And then they picked up Anna.
Anna was... I'm like, what?
So I was born in Melbourne. I lived here with 2 of my sisters and 1 of my brother and my mum. And I pretty much lived here my whole life until I went pro with DOTA.
They got this Australian kid.
He was a bit of a shot in the dark. People didn't know what to expect from Anna.
He was a complete unknown. He came out of nowhere.
I was just playing pubs every day. I was a bit, not cocky, but like... Actually, yeah, I was cocky.
We went through with the roster and like finalized it, and Jerax and S4, there was no doubt in our mind. But Anna, it kind of went out on a limb.
Like, I just play like whatever I want to play, and like, it's like so easy. Like, I don't know how to say.
He'd never really played consistently on a top team.
But Anna, like, I mean, he was truly talented. We saw it really quickly. The way he approached the game, it wasn't influenced by other players' play style. It wasn't influenced by how people think. It wasn't influenced by anything. It was pure.
It was kind of a risk in a way, but from my perspective, first conversation with Anna, Anna said, let's go win some majors. And there was an S there, you know? So 1 was not enough. There is that insane confidence in him. Let's go win some majors.
Welcome on stage, OG.
Going into Boston Major with this new roster, we felt really good. We felt really confident.
But even then, rebuilding from a 2-man roster, you're gonna have to prove it, just like you're nobody.
How are you feeling about this tournament?
I think there's no team here that can beat us in the best of 5.
The Fly and No-Tail brothers have been kind of holding hand through it all. But, I mean, the team has undergone some real shuffles.
Jerax. He's an interesting character. Can you hold a conversation with him?
Jerax, he would dictate the tempo of the game. He's like a dog that's chasing a ball, but you can't really see the ball. So you're just trying to run after the dog who's running after the ball.
My position is more like a roaming type. Mostly, I'm just moving around the map, disabling enemies.
To kill off the Rubik spawns, and he's going to be able to do it.
It's very crucial that I'm let to do my thing.
He's sitting there saying, let me do my own thing. And he's seeing the results. Who's to stop him?
Caught out again by Jerax, jumps forward with the boulder smash. OG! No tail like they've won 3 majors. It's an incredible feat.
Boston Major was the 3rd major we won. The roster had changed, but the one thing that was consistent was me and Tal. It felt like nothing could stop us.
This team, this roster, felt so good. Jerax, we knew how good he was as a player, right? Anna was the opposite. Anna had incredible potential, flashes of brilliance, but Kiev made him a different player.
Welcome to the Kiev Major, the last major before we head to the International 2017.
Kiev Major for Anna, it showed like what kind of a player he is.
It's committed, and Anna feels the the opportunity.
He doesn't really think of the things that can go bad. He thinks about what he can do, and then he goes for it. No hesitation.
I'm just gonna run in and fuck with him. You know?
That is the best way to play it. And Anna, he had it inside him.
With a double kill.
I think joining OG was the best day of my life. The fact that I was given a chance.
The enchilada right now. Anna focusing on the rack.
Before TI8 Major, I didn't know if I was up to the challenge.
But they just don't have the damage to repel OG. OG will be claimed 4-time Dota 2 Major winners here in Kiev.
TI8 Major, it was really a shock when we won. I always thought VP was really good team. Taking a win from them, you really want to celebrate.
At the Boston Major, No-Tail said nobody can beat OG in a best of 5.
3 was incredible. 4, I think, it's even more so.
What comes after legend?
We just hit like a stride where we really found what's good for us.
When the highest level of Dota is played, when every little detail is thought through, it's something that is beautiful in the sense that I've never found this in anything else in my life.
TI8 Major, we found our strengths, and Sebastian really brought us together as a team. He's like one of the players, and he deserves the moment to celebrate with us.
So at this point, OG with No-Tail and Fly, 4 majors. It's an achievement that I don't think we'll ever see anyone be able to reach again in the world of Dota 2.
I did feel like a big sense of achievement. You know, wow, 4 tournaments. A lot of people were telling me nobody has done this before. This is way better than winning a TI. This to me wasn't really the truth. I always looked at TI as being worth more than anything.
Welcome to the International! Of the International 7. The nearly $24 million prize pool with, for the first time, 8 figures for first place. $10 million goes to the winner.
OG was already writing history with winning 4 majors at that point. Next up, the International.
We were into TI7. We knew that we were good enough to perform really well at that tournament.
Here we go. OG taking on LGD. A lot of eyes are on them, of course.
Yet we didn't have the results we expected.
The boat hits 5! They're gonna bring him down. Chewing through on it. LGD outlasting OG here.
We just didn't adapt well enough. We didn't play well enough.
LGD, they do it again. 3 deaths for Ana early in this middle lane.
From a Dota point of view, it was catastrophic.
No tails next. No buybacks on 3. The end is nigh. GG. LGD slay the beast. They move on.
We got completely outplayed and just dumpstered by a better team.
Is a bitter pill to swallow for OG, for their fans. 4-time major champions, but it's just something about TI that OG just can't seem to get it together.
It sucked. It really sucked to lose another one.
It sucks, you know, it sucks to lose. Everybody knows that. Thank you, Fly. I appreciate you taking the time.
Fly and No-Tail. They have all these incredible accomplishments, but the capstone for every player is winning TI.
And for OG, another TI unsuccessful.
It's really shitty to say, but you gotta win TI.
As Dota got bigger, the International got bigger. The prize money got bigger. The stakes got higher, and as the stakes got higher, the pressure intensified on OG in every single way. And they simply weren't stepping up to it.
Fans started to question, what is it about OG that seems to stop them from being able to have success at an international?
I mean, I don't know. To be honest, I don't know what makes you able to come into TI as a favorite and then still win. I think it's incredibly hard. What is it that we're doing wrong? Why is it that we are not able to become the team that can win this title? So yeah, I mean, to be honest, I don't know.
There was problems of like being too emotional in the games. We were kind of like shattered, I would say.
You can only take so much, right? Like every time you go for TI and every time you lose, every punch feels different. After TI7, there was a bit of fatigue, especially in Ana.
People can get really, really harsh, even towards a 17-year-old boy that is thousands of miles away from home. And it happens very often in Dota. And that's what it was with Ana. I mean, he was getting a lot of flack. A lot of players, they just break because of it.
I think I was quite weak mentally. I was just like young, and I mean, after TI7, I would hear about what the haters would say, and it affected me.
If I had to go through what he had gone through at the age of 17, I think I would have crumbled way before he did.
Everyone's talented in the game, but not everybody has a good mindset. You have to be strong. If you want to be the absolute best, you have to be mentally stronger than everyone else. It's so easy for people to just crumble when they start losing.
It's just one tournament, but you screw it up once and it's gone. It's a lot of pressure, and I didn't really enjoy that pressure.
After TI7, Ana, he wasn't ready to keep going.
Into our draft very shortly for game
After
number
TI7,
2 between OG and
after they lose Ana, OG, they seem lost.
Fly, though, is going to stay calm and collected. He's been in this.
They found this player, Resolution. He'd been playing amazing at TI7. So OG, they grabbed him, they threw him in their team. But then for the rest of the year, they played utterly mediocre.
There's the GG, good luck called by Fly.
They fall flat in qualifiers, they fall flat in tournaments.
Ever since then, OG has not been consistent.
They're just not having any success.
Over time, because they won so much and were so dominant, it's only natural that watching OG flounder a little bit definitely was enjoyable for some people.
Not much you can say about OG, really. They got dominated in the second game.
It was definitely a tough game to watch.
Yeah, very tough indeed.
When you lose a lot, you also lose trust. Things get hectic. You can have a conversation and then suddenly it's an argument, and suddenly the argument makes distrust.
Sometimes bad weeks can turn into bad months, and by the time we got to Birmingham, it was definitely a downward spiral.
Raise the roof here in Birmingham. It's OG.
This no-tail fly duo, 905 career wins. You know the next closest is over 200 behind.
I felt that something was in the air.
On the side of OG, you've got S4. Easily
Gustav
one of
and
the most
Tal, they were talking more with each other, talking about some of the problems we were having in the team. The team was starting to be a bit dysfunctional.
It's a total envy. No-tail jumps in trying to kill him, but he just...
Evidence is there. Nobody really wants to acknowledge it.
Where is this kill going to
But
come?
some kind of outside pressure definitely got in.
And OG, this is the last hurrah.
Birmingham, we flunked out.
All of a sudden, OG just falling apart there.
We lose, and then we go back to the hotel.
It's raining, it's thunder outside. It's like electricity is in the air. And, well, we just got called into a room. And I learned that the two players are leaving, and one of them's my best friend. Tal and S4, they're going to EG.
S4 leaving, sure, I can understand that. But Fly leaving OG, he's not just the captain, he owns part of the team. His girlfriend is the manager of the team. It would tear the team apart if he would leave.
It was a huge shock. Like, we for sure didn't see it coming.
Not much was said. I think max 3 sentences were spoken in that room. Then they left. We spent 8 years together, and now it's over. That was how that happened.
Tal leaving is your captain leaving. He was always there for you when you need it, so you don't expect it at all.
I just trusted him. As simple as that. I just trusted him. He was the captain. That means something, at least to us.
I always thought, me and Tal, something so strong, how can it break? This was probably the shittiest moment ever.
The second he learned that Fly was leaving, his face changed. It was like, you know, he started surviving. You know what I mean? Like it's like the face of the guy that is like surviving.
DOTA has given me so much. When I'm really sad or when things aren't looking so good, I just join a DOTA game with all the rest, and it's all back to that. Just playing the DOTA game.
It is done in the wrong way, you know? Like without the respect that you deserve as a friend.
We just all were staring at each other, and it was like, okay, guys, what's next? And then obviously what would have been next is Jesse goes to Finland, and I go to France, Johan goes to Denmark, and we just like grieve what happened.
It was almost as if each of us were looking at the other, waiting for that person to crack and say, I can't, I'm out, I'm going home. Either one of us could have probably just ended it all right then and there, and it would have brought the other two with him. But we only had each other, and we were there for each other.
I was like, hey guys, I think it's a really bad idea that we go our separate ways. I think you guys should come to Paris. You know, I don't really know what we're gonna do there, but we're just gonna be together for each other. And we're gonna talk about what we should do.
I always believe that the hardest choices in life are the right ones. The ones that are easy are usually the wrong ones. And in this case, there was only one right choice, and it was the hardest one by far. It was to rebuild.
So forming a team 3 months before TI and having a shot at winning TI, no, not happening.
For TI8, we were gonna have to take risks. We needed soldiers, we needed people that were ready to listen and ready to play.
3 months left to the international. If somebody was good enough to be on a team, they were already on a team.
So I scout players a lot online. I spend a lot of time playing pubs, and there was this guy. Yeah, I get frustrated when I get outplayed, you know? And when I get outplayed, it usually means that the guy's pretty good at the game.
I'm going to focus on up-and-coming talent who, in the future, will have maybe some more spotlight.
And I remember being really frustrated playing against him. So as soon as we got a spot, I definitely thought of a guy. But the majority was like, who the hell is Thompson?
Yeah, we might be able to call him and find out for ourselves. Thompson, you there?
Thompson, I learned quickly that he was, well, similar to other Scandinavians, maybe a bit more reserved.
I mean, everybody is good at something, and for me, it's playing DOTA, so...
How many pubs do you play on average a day?
It's around 10 to 15, I guess.
15 is pretty hardcore. I'm gonna give it this.
Playing games with your friends is very different from playing in a competitive environment.
It's a risk, but that guy was like extremely underrated, and he was, as far as I was concerned, one of the best players outside of the pro scene.
The next logical choice for us was Anna.
Anna hadn't played for a long time. We knew Anna though. We knew how powerful he was as a player.
Anna coming back? I mean, people at that point were like, probably the last person still available. Sure, why not?
After TI7, I felt really drained. I went back home and I just thought about like the year. Having a break, there was a lot of self-reflecting. Like, I guess I grew up.
But there was still one spot left to fill. This was perhaps the most interesting choice of all.
The real question is why not Sebastian as a player instead of a coach?
I'm happy when we achieve the highest level. That's the only thing that matters to me. If I have to coach, then I'll be coaching. But Johan really wanted me to play.
Sebastian, as somebody that talks about the game and understands the game, I thought he was the best.
It was a huge challenge. I mean, I had never played at that level.
So Jesse, can you guide us? No?
And suddenly they like needed a coach. And I was like, okay. He's not there, like, I trust him.
And then we needed a manager.
I mean, I consider them all my brothers, but here we had a literal brother of Sebastian. Charlie was there for us.
The idea for me was help them as much as I can.
Our boat caught fire during Birmingham. The ship was sinking, everything was shit. Like, we probably had half a ship. We managed to save it somehow and made it into the most beautiful ship ever.
And yeah, I had to be the captain.
So, new team. And coming into TI8, they did not get a direct invite. There was only one route for them, open qualifiers.
In 2018, there were over 5,000 teams competing from home for just 10 open spots at TI8.
Anybody can play in these, and it's do or die matches.
How's the house?
It's pretty good.
Open qualifiers can be incredibly brutal.
You have to play a lot of games. It's a whole different challenge. It's about staying focused, and it's about looking at every game one by one. But at the end of the day, our understanding of the game was ahead of these teams.
OG, they make it through the open qualifiers, make it through the regional qualifiers, but they still might not even get to play on the main stage.
18 teams from across the world make it to TI8, and of those 18 teams, only 16 will play on the main stage.
Even this fight here, they overdive on the Enchantress. They throw a lot of their
The group stage started off not very good for us.
What did you expect out of that?
We went 1 win, 5 losses. We're almost bottom of the group. It forced us to start reflecting.
We had a long talk as a group. The thing that often happens is you learn a lot about your opponent, but if you forget who you are along the way, you're gonna lose no matter what. We decided, we are ourselves when we're together. Win or lose, we do it together.
Tornado comes out, and that's enough to finish round. Steph might get it. No! Steph gets the Murata as well, and that's it! GG is the call from Ice.
Started winning pretty much every single series.
Don't get GG called yet again. OG doing it big here in the group stages.
From the bottom of the group, we made it all the way to the upper bracket.
OG going to the main stage. It's good to be back.
TI main stage, we wanted so bad to just wake up and play those games. Regardless of the result, we just wanted to play those games.
The opening ceremony, oh, goosebumps.
Every TI, I'm like, oh, you know, it's another TI, and then I get here, I'm like, it's as magical as
It
ever.
is, isn't it?
We've got 6 days with the best Dota 2 teams in the world. $25 million in total. The top team taking away 11 million of that. The largest esport prize pool in history.
For the fans, without you guys, none of this is possible.
Can we hear from the fans, please?
The moment is once again at hand for the chance to wage battle on the world's biggest stage. To the finest Dota teams in the world. Veterans and newcomers alike.
The third iteration of OG.
Old rivalries rekindled. Capture the fire and the glory. The battle
We start with the explosive VGJ Storm coming in against OG.
VGJ Storm, they've had a fantastic season.
They have to be the favorites here.
There's a lot more pressure on OG right now.
Anna's got some experience here, and obviously Seb's got a ton of experience, as has NOTAL and Jerax as well. But what about Thompson in there? It's going through his mind right now. First TI, big stage.
Going to TI main stage for the first time, it's a different pressure.
This Thompson story has got me just tingling. It's so ridiculous. He's got 3K in his bank account, and he's stepping into TI playing for 11 million. It's just absurd.
You see all the Dota players, the biggest fans, just gather for this one event that you yourself have been watching for all the years. And now you're actually right there in the middle of it. It's unreal.
His first international tournament on a high level. I can't put myself in his shoes. I have no idea what that must feel like.
They gotta be careful. There's a lot of damage coming in with the hurl boulders.
First game was really rough.
on the run, trying to get the heck out of here, but they are isolated, they are killed.
We played from behind almost the entire game.
SV to stay away from the damage coming
But
out.
I didn't tell that the fighting spirit of everybody on the team was like through the roof. Anna specifically, the way he played, he showed an immense amount of confidence.
Anna gonna take a lane of barracks.
He went for like really big plays, knowing that we got his back. And like, all right, that guy's feeling great.
You can start to feel something building here for OG.
The previous year at TI8, it seemed like Anna, he was the one that was playing inconsistently, not doing well, getting the most heat from the public. And now all of a sudden, people started looking back and being like, maybe Anna was the magic to their team.
Anna taking the tier 3 tower, now moving on to the other barracks. How quickly things change. Oh, now
Playing my best. We all got a lot of momentum from that first game against VTJ.
best placement that organization has ever had at the International. Can you believe it?
Game 2 was pretty much us riding the momentum and then just like not giving them a chance.
OG on in the upper bracket.
Unbelievable performance from a team that feels like they just formed.
Showing up here on the main stage and taking down VTJ Storm, that's looked like one of the best teams in the tournament.
Looking at OG and how they played today, do you think that momentum is going to carry on?
It is definitely possible, but the next round is going to be very, very tough for them.
Destiny had it in for us. It had to happen.
What are your thoughts on facing OG and some of your old pals?
And it did happen.
Obviously, there's been some history there, so I'm just going to focus on the game. Doesn't matter who I play. Treat it the same way.
The chase for the ages of champions continues here in Vancouver. Welcome back to day number 3. Ultimate semi-final upper bracket between two teams who know each other far too well for their own good. OG versus EG.
I love me some spicy stuff, and OG versus EG is probably the spiciest match of the entire
It's nothing
TI.
to do with the players, and I'm sure they'll be perfect gentlemen and they'll be sportsmanlike.
The hype around the EG-OG match was incredible. You know, a classic sports story.
The grudge match, the rivalry.
It's a rivalry, right? Let's talk about the drama.
There's some stuff to talk about there. What's your take?
I mean, there's a lot of things to talk about there.
There's no more iconic duo in the history of Dota 2 than NOTAL and Fly as a player combo. And to see them break up.
OG, they're the ones who kind of got left on their own to scramble to find these last-minute replacements. They bring in Anna, they bring in Thompson. They just had their leadership leave the team. They're motivated to get some revenge.
Why did you leave OG?
The team hasn't worked for a long time. I felt like this is really a team I could win with, as opposed to the previous team where I felt like we kind of hit a dead end. In the end, I want to win, and I want to do it with teammates I believe in.
When Tal says that he didn't believe in the team anymore and that it wasn't going to work, I know for a fact there was more to it than just that. And let's just leave it at that.
No matter what I think about them and what they have done to me, I'm just looking at the Dota part, and they were playing incredibly well, and they were a very scary team to go against.
I think it's fair to say that EG are the favorites going into this. They looked super good in the group stage. They looked really convincing in their first upper bracket match. EG is one of the absolute strongest teams here.
EG was highly favored, but it depends on what you favor, right? I think a lot of people's heart was with the story of OG, even if their minds were with EG.
OG versus Evil Geniuses.
For the game against EG, the upper bracket semifinal, our strategy was to force them to pick heroes they weren't used to play.
I didn't want them to live in their comfort zone at all. I wanted to force them to just think on the spot.
Blocks as well, NOTAL, with the Tricental set up for the kill. Nice micro there from NOTAL, as to be expected.
What really stands out was specifically Thompson. I mean, he has to play against a male.
Sumail is definitely very confident in himself.
Sumail, what's your motivation?
Money.
Money?
Yeah, definitely.
He did win TI when he was 16. He's had these long periods where he was genuinely the best player in the game and everybody know it.
I'm the best at it, but I can also make money out of it, so it's just a bonus.
And Topias was gonna have to play against that guy, right? It should be a really rough game for Thompson.
Sumail outplays Thompson.
But he didn't get affected by it at all. He actually played extremely well.
As S4 just getting solo killed here by Thompson. As now, looking to fly. Thompson finds the double kill. This man alive, though, he does
Went on and just like destroyed the game.
Tornado! Thompson! He's in with the back of the meeting! Definitely was coming down! Thompson with the save!
He was bullying straight up alone.
Cancels the black hole, but the combo from Thompson straight on top of RTZ takes him out.
He didn't have to say much. There was always somebody dead from the enemy team.
GG is cool. And game one.
I let my playing do the talking.
Thompson definitely coming out strong on that Invoker.
I think we did a pretty good job of winning in a good way, winning in a way that also damaged their mentality.
In a series where I think a lot of people would have expected to see something quite fantastic from EG. OG absolutely crushed it, 32 minutes in, 18K. The pressure, the speed that they could play at, it just never got to a point where Sumail or RTZ could really offer much in the fight. They were always playing from behind because of how well OG kept the pressure on. Yep, pretty much. OG currently leads 1-0 in this best of three to try to remain in a secure top 3 spot. Game 2! Can they keep it up in game 2? Get on top of Thompson.
Game 2 we got off to a really good start.
He's trying to back away, but the No-Tail, he gets the kill. He's
actually going to die.
Seb's just having to walk underneath the tower. No-Tail, does he get the hit? Oh.
16 minutes in or something, it's like we're stomping them.
Seb, he's ready for round 2. The question is, are Evil Geniuses?
Game 2, it was a pretty good game. If you look at the first 20 minutes, then it stopped being good.
Subway crit charges through. It's through them with the charge back. They got the Savage on there. That's going to be added over the line. The Jarrett hoping it's on top of the EG. They find the third, and they pulled the game back to a point where the net worth is even.
The fact that we beat them once just means that they're as dangerous as a wounded wild beast, you know, like it's gonna try to kill you as soon as it gets the chance.
Thompson, they're on top of him. Charge out straight away. They get the gust through as well. The shards will come down to hold Sumail back, but it's not enough to save Thompson.
We let our guard down.
The agent exposed. GG is cool. And EG
what a comeback.
won this series to a game 3.
I'm kind of worried for OG for the third game. Can they win?
They were better game 2. They just outclassed us in every single aspect of the game.
I'm expecting some much bigger plays from Sumail.
With how strong they started, and just all shattered. This game determines which team gets to secure a top 3 spot here at the International.
Game 3, from the very beginning, they were in charge.
It's starting to get messy here for OG. It was a 3K lead now for EG.
EG was a lot about controlling the map.
EG, they're still focusing on...
It's a very structured and thought-through play style. It's really good Dota. So it's really hard to get out of it. Like, we're talking, we're just trying to survive that game.
Rushes a half health and Sumail. Thompson's is dead.
You need the 5 players to be aware of what they're doing in order to break it, right?
This time, Thompson didn't carry us.
They take it down inside Odu. Sumail again, double kill.
I think Suma got really angry after the first game.
Sumail comes in for the triple kill. Sumail, another ultra kill. Back-to-back ultra kills for Sumail. Back for round 2. They have lost Fly, EG.
At that point, the game has spun out of control.
Sumail in with the combo, finds himself No-Tail. OG, they just have to get themselves the hell out of here. They cannot stand anyway.
They had us in a chokehold, but we somehow escaped this chokehold.
Easy, can they get anything more? They're able to find Tiny. They're able to find Fly, the buyback hole.
We clawed our way back.
Absolutely doing it, the buybacks there from OG.
We ended up forcing them to play a game they did not want to play. And they started slowly playing into our hands, which ended up turning the tide completely.
Still alive, comes down to Mail, double kill for Anna, and it's for trying to run himself away for Jax, it's pulled for Jax, OG looking to close things up, they're on to the ancient, GG is called, OG wins the series 2-1, again.
I remember hitting my keyboard so hard that the keys fell off.
Bracket, OG will move one step closer to the Aegis.
I mean, Johan had the look I've seen him have. You could tell it was about what had happened.
I felt extremely angry. I felt really happy. I felt really sad. I felt like I wasn't really in control of anything. It was just everything coming back to me. The whole Birmingham situation, what the feeling was in the room when we got the news, how things were handled, everything just came back to me after we won. Shaking his hand, being the winner, it was very gratifying.
OG with the fortitude to stick through it after
exhale.
Revenge and anger. It's not the healthiest emotions. But right after we walked off stage, Sebastian snapped me out of it.
These guys didn't believe in you. They thought you were not worth their time. And now not only you proved them wrong, it's like you're better than them.
OG came into TI as the underdogs. You are now guaranteed top 3.
It sounds like a dream, or like it doesn't sound like reality. We've faced so many failures in the past that we're not ashamed of. We're proud of them. That's what made us.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the penultimate day. We have just 5 teams remaining. By the end of today, we will know who the grand finalists will be.
Let's welcome Team OG, making it to the upper bracket finals. They are ready to face their opponent, PSG LGD.
LGD had very impressive recent tournament results.
LGD's run over the last few tournaments, they've won 2 majors very close to the end of the season.
I'm on the LGD hype train. My bracket says LGD, right? It said LGD from the beginning of the very tournament.
This squad was the Chinese chosen one. They looked strong, they had a good strategy, they had their star player, they had all the ingredients to win a TI.
Most analysts thought this team, there was no chance for OG.
We have the top teams in the DOTA scene, and OG, which is maybe the surprise.
What do we think about OG making it this far? They weren't even the same team a couple months ago.
OG have had such a miracle run.
I mean, it's an absolutely remarkable run. You know, even if they don't end up doing so great at the end of it all, they defeated their nemesis already, right?
Game 1 against LGD, it's like you've been looking at them destroy other teams, and now you have to play against them.
A lot of LGD fans, are they still around?
Hearing the roar from the crowd every time LGD is mentioned has to put a little bit of intimidation onto OG.
These guys were here to win the tournament. But we're so passionate about the game that once the game starts, we just dive into the game.
Seb is just all by himself, able to tank through everything.
There's no LGD, there's no OG, there's no TI. It's just about the game that is in front of you, and you have to win it. Now we're spamming Chinese instead of spamming in English. We're feeling great. We think it's really funny, and we're having fun.
Unstoppable Enchantress.
We were in control of the game.
They just eliminate Army.
OG defeated one of LGD's best strategies in game number 1.
When you're an underdog, that can really help you to play more freely and be more successful. But if you start thinking about winning, that's where you run into trouble.
This game should be over. There's too many heroes down. Top to Carlos game.
They're a great team, and we knew that. We knew they were here to crush us if they could.
LGD into a deciding game against OG.
The game was done. They won it. But you just like set your focus on what matters, what's in front of you. That's game 3.
Game 3!
So they're tied 1-1.
If OG win this game 3, they are in the grand finals.
Game 3 versus LGD.
The Notel needs to slow them down.
They're making good moves. They're picking us off.
The pressure will continue.
Game 3.
It's going from bad to worse for him.
I remember we just get slaughtered. They're just outplaying us right, left, and center.
Notel under the tower. FY can do no wrong.
LGD, they have a good opening to actually close out the game, but they go for the throne.
LGD want this now.
They basically try to win right then and there, and that was a big mistake. They weren't patient. They couldn't wait.
Like, oh, this is ours for sure. Let's just grab it. But it wasn't the time to grab it. There's no way this is gonna work. And we started to counter the play.
There's your fire. There's the dunk, Dirac. This guy's an NBA All-Star. Johnson is there. They push forward. They get the control. LGD with 4 heroes who do not have buyback. OG, they are gonna push. But how?
Thompson, he showed up in a huge way.
Thompson was talking about how his hands were shaking, like the amount of adrenaline.
Try to focus on clicking the ancient. Hit the ancient.
A few months before, Thompson was sitting at home, a very unknown, unproven pub player. And now he's dominating the winner bracket at TI.
I just felt so powerful in that moment. It was really great feeling.
Probably the craziest game of the whole tournament that we've had so far.
OG, they have reached their first TI Grand Final.
Holy shit, you're going to the Grand Final. A year ago right now, if someone had told you that you would be playing in the Grand Final of TI8, would you have believed them?
No, no, no way.
Ladies and gentlemen, our final day is upon us. I can feel the excitement inside the arena.
We're gonna play the TI Grand Finals. I'll be a player in the TI Grand Finals. That sounded unreal.
It's been a lifelong dream for me to get to the finals of TI. I've always wanted to just get there. We were so excited to play this finals.
The Grand Finals of TI8. We kick it off with OG battling all the way through the upper bracket, defying all odds and all predictions.
The bad guy dies at the end of the movie. You think it's the end, but it's not.
And it's none other than a rematch against PSG LGD.
我觉得我们最大对手应该不是其他队伍吧，就可能我们自己，如果我们自己不是状况的话，就是还是挺厉害的。
LGD had to fight their way back to the top bracket.
LGD end up battling through evil geniuses.
LGD smell blood. EG trying to stem the bleeding. GG, LGD are moving on to the grand final.
They crush EG 2-0.
Shout out to LGD for playing such a good game. Good luck to you guys.
LGD, they were not done. They were coming. They were coming for more.
OG was able to beat LGD in a close best of 3. But when you have to rematch again in a best of 5, everything goes out the window.
Most likely outcome for me is probably LGD winning by 3-1.
Going up against LGD again in a best of 5, as some of the doubters online would have still said, OG, this lineup cannot win a best of 5. They cannot win a grand finals.
It almost feels like we're looking at a matchup of heart and then closer to machine perfection on LGD, right? And I mean, LGD had to carry that pressure and pride for the whole Chinese scene.
There's been one reoccurring theme for every international, and it's been the East versus West. West won the first, East won the second. And ever since then, it's been taking turns. We had it in the back of our heads, we heard it around us, people talk about it.
We're a Chinese team in an even year, and it's the 8th year, by the way, which is very lucky in China.
And then I was like, do you think this year is Chinese year? And Johan, he was like, no, don't think like that. And I was like, come on, man, Anna is a little bit Chinese.
We're fine either way. If the curse is real, then it's on our side, you know?
Under control, Jared straight in on an Ahmed puts the BKB, but it's too late. Saunders finds no tell on the side. The 5-man's going to be there straight away.
Going into the grand finals, OG is comfortable with their strategy. They know that their best hero is Anna's Spectre, and they're able to dominate LGD again in game 1 with that hero.
It was like one of them really bloodbath kind of games where both the teams really want to fight, but there was just no way they could fight us in this game.
That first game lineup, it was amazing.
What teamwork by OG. Every little thing coming together.
OG, one game up at the start of this best of 5.
LGD coming in looking so much more dominant.
The fact that we beat them once doesn't mean it's going to get easier.
We never got a foot in this game.
Seb's trying to get out of it, but he's still going to make
They tried whatever they could to get some advantages in lane, but PSG LGD just not letting a beat go.
It's just looking almost impossible for OG to come back into this game.
We tried our best, honestly. We really tried, but we just couldn't.
PSG LGD seems to have the momentum now.
Game 3.
1-1 in a best of 5 for the grand finals here at TI8.
Dota is a very complex game. Part of Dota is to try to anticipate what your opponent's going to do. I didn't think that they would have a really good plan. As a matter of fact, I still don't think that their plan should have worked, but it ended up working.
They'll get the Aegis out of his hands. They do lose. The Aegis, can they kill him a second time? For the TP, the Sunray.
But the things that should have worked for us didn't work for us. It's Dota. Shit happens. Obviously, this is a rough loss.
2-1 now for PSG LGD. This series just heating up.
I'd say a couple OG players just need to step it up. They're making those clutch mid to late game plays, but they need those individuals to step up, whether it's Anna, Tops. They can play a lot better. We've seen it from OG, but they're not out of this series.
If you're in the biggest match of your life and you're down 2-1 and you're one game away from losing, you can't freak out, you can't play worse. Don't let the nerves get to you.
Not everybody is able to deal with the amount of pressure. Everything is tested, but no till. He has the motivation, he has the drive, he has the experience. He knows what to do to get the best out of his squad.
Game number 4 as PSG LGD leads the series 2-1.
When you're down 2-1, your back's really up against the wall. It's very easy to succumb to some kind of pressure.
LGD, they're warmed up, right?
They're a team that wants it. The crowd, I think, is driving them on too. You hear them every time LGD wins a fight, they're chanting LGD, they're chanting the chat wall lines, and LGD is going to just make them look worse because of how amazing they are.
You know, one more game of Dota, like that was maybe gonna be it, but we were gonna enjoy it. You know, we went through shit together.
Well, Chinese year though.
Chinese year.
Yeah. Now it's time to see if the curse is real.
OG now 1 game away from losing in this grand finals.
It looked like we had no chances. It looked like we were gonna lose. It looked really bad.
OG now truly has to fight back. It's not just about the momentum anymore. They are behind.
You have to believe in your guts that it's not over. Because obviously everything around you is telling you it's over.
That's twice in this series the X-Nova just comes out of nowhere.
The crowd is cheering against you. It keeps getting harder. You know, you lost 1 fight, 2 fights.
Still Anna holding on.
You feel like shit. You feel like it's impossible.
They really want to force this PL to come back here.
Stand on to Thompson.
Stay focused, guys.
And another tier 3 tower pulling incredibly fast.
But you have to believe it's fate.
Jumps in.
Trust your teammates.
There's the buyback. The cataclysm isn't enough to do it.
Trust in your team, your ability to turn situations around.
Get ready for the fight.
Taken down by Arme.
And that very moment, it's the turning point.
For this one, the deafening blast.
Don't break. This is when you pass it.
What Sebastian said in the game was like, don't worry guys, I'm gonna carry this game. I just need some time. This is my game, boys.
Thompson blinks in. He gets the heads up with F5 with a snowball.
Then you got Odie Pixel commentating the match. When you hear a guy that normally talks super fast, just stop and shout one word. Seb!
Seb gets the goal!
I see Seb making a play. I think about this beautiful French man, and all I want to do is shout his name.
3 dead now on LGD.
I get the chance to prove myself.
He hasn't played in a TI since TI2.
And now he's back in a grand finals of all places. It's been such an incredible journey for him.
When it really mattered, he came out strong, and I'm really impressed by his performance.
Before this TI, I had almost given up as a player when I met Johan in OG. It's just crazy. This changed my life.
If you're LGD and you watch that, like, you must be thinking that God's not on your side or something.
There we have it. OG coming up, tying it up 2-2.
I'm just glad I'm still alive. That's all I can say after that game. My heart was actually really pounding during those last, 20 minutes. That's probably the game of the tournament for me so far. Unbelievable how OG somehow seems to end up in every game of the tournament, and then they make the next one, and the next one.
This is, in and of itself, already a miracle story. I mean, this squad left in shatters, and then they come back, and now they're top 2. I mean, the story could end here, and it could be a fairy tale.
We felt really hyped. Like, guys, this is game 5 of the freaking TI Grand Final.
It was just the energy that we had, like really good energy. The electricity was in the air, but there was nothing bad about it.
You know what happens? I know we're all really well what we did, and we should be, rightly so. We earned the game 5, which is what we came for. So let's fucking enjoy it. We're doing this together. Lose together, win together, slay together, slay together, slay together. That was just it.
How crazy is it that we're gonna get the chance to play that game?
They're just super happy to play together. They're super happy to be on the stage, and they just enjoy every game.
Everyone's ready for another close match, and OG opens up with a really unusual pick.
Me and Sebastian started talking about the draft for the game 5 and like favorite heroes of all time, signature heroes.
What hero am I gonna play to try to win TI?
I was personally very confident on Prophet.
I speak for the trees.
Jerax, he was like, I want Rubik.
Jerax was feeling it, he was liking it. And Sebastian, for a very long time, has been Magnus.
He holds the horn of Magnus.
Yes. I want to play Magnus. This is it.
For Anna, it's always been Ember.
Ember spirit.
It was like a risky floor pick, but yeah, I just felt it.
And as for Thompson, he ended up playing the Zeus.
The priority was not to get what would have been perfect. The priority was to get what would make us happy and make us enjoy that game and play it as well as we could play. We kind of YOLO'd it in hindsight.
They've managed to obtain 5 heroes that all players are incredibly comfortable on. But at the same time, you shouldn't be able to win with these heroes. Can they really do the impossible and destroy LGD, the strongest team in China, when there's $25 million on the line?
PSG LGD gets that first blood.
Whatever we try, they counter. Whatever we do, they anticipate.
There's no tail, also in trouble.
Give it our best, but it's just not good enough.
He's turned up, and he'll be able to take down Anna, kill after kill.
It was a bit rough, I'll be honest.
Jerax, another casualty for OG is PSG.
But we just played our hearts out.
They've lost 3 F5 with the TPL.
We keep trying, we keep fighting.
Anna catches out the shaker.
We keep feeding each other energy, confidence.
They're confident, knowing Seb can sit there on the high ground, ready with the counter.
And suddenly, Jerax turned into like a whole different beast.
He was screaming.
Go this way.
I've never heard him scream. If he had been a wild dog off a leash, he turned into like a racetrack dog that was going ham.
It's OG! They fight 3!
It's like unreal. We're playing the TI Grand Final.
Saunders, he'll go down as well!
It's almost as if we were playing drunk party pubs or something. It was crazy, man.
They chase him down again from Team 1!
I think that was one of the most enjoyable games for me to play. Things can go so wrong and then still so right.
OG!
They just crumbled.
They have done it! The power of flowers and friendship. I've done it here, ladies and gentlemen. Your grand champions of TI8! It's OG! Can you believe it? OG, a team, tipped by some to be the 18th most ranked
Unreal. That's freaking unreal.
Best moment of my life.
Go get the Aegis! It's yours!
What we achieved together through something bigger than us. It's something that some people seek for a lifetime. And that thing will keep us going, wherever that takes us.
I think we built something really great. I think all this needs is friendship and a little bit of care from everybody.
We got way more than we could have ever asked for.
My family was there. That's one of the stars that aligned. It's the first time they came to see me play.
And somehow they did it. What an incredible run.
All 6 of them. All 6 of them.
Guys playing video games. It's very simple.
And that's what it's for. That right there.
This is OG's moment.